Hey, what's going on, everybody? Robert Phoenix here, broadcasting to you live from Fredericksburg. We've got a connection over on the 15 minutes side of things. Sorry, I need to just tighten up my look here a little bit today. Not happy with. Here we go. Nah, I don't like that either. A little more starch in the collar. Anyway, what's going on? What's happening? I'm just waiting for the YouTube side of things to open up, and it just did. How about that? Welcome YouTube fan. What's happening? What's going on? Balancing two separate worlds, managing two separate universes simultaneously. You get it daily here, right around 9, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, right around this time of day, every day, Monday through Thursday. Friday, it's a different thing. Sunday night, different thing altogether. What's happening? What's going on with you out there? It's another great day here in Texas, although the air quality is not great. We're having a lot of stuff in the air. Apparently now we're dealing with the byproduct of a lot of quarries and processing of earth stuff, limestone, marble, which is quite abundant here in this area, and there's a huge growth boom going on here in Texas. For such a hated place, a lot of people want to come here. A lot of people want to hang out here. A lot of people want to move their businesses here. It is zooming and booming, and so because of a lot of these quarries and that have sprouted up, put a lot of stuff in the air. Plus, yesterday was a bit of a chemtrail day, and we're getting into our kind of summer weather now, which is a bit on the muggy side. So it's not the greatest air quality. Anyway, that's what's happening here. I hope your world is shaping up nicely today, and if it's headed off on the right foot, let's see if we can get you back on the right foot. Try to deal with a little bit of positivity, but also bring things to your attention that are sometimes humorous and sometimes troubling. And today you'll get a little bit of both of that. Let's see who's over here on the YouTube side. Let me do a little meet and greeting. We've got Chris and Steve. What's happening? There's Justice. Hello, Justice. There's Mary. Hi, Mary. Have a great. Thank you. There's Shari. Luann. Hi, Luann. Nice rings of power. There's Raven. Hi, Raven. Yeah. So I'll give you a little history around these rings if you want. I was just with my mother about a week ago, right? And my father was a kind of an amateur jeweler. He loved tinkering. He was a tinkerer. It's a Leo. He was a hobby guy. And one of his hobbies was jewelry. So he made rings. And he found this coin, which I thought was pretty cool. And made a ring. You can't really see it because of the light. He made a ring out of it. And the old gal gave it to me. So I got that now. If I ever jab anybody, hit anybody with a jab, we'll have an interesting kind of seal on their cheekbone. No, just kidding. And then this side, I've got the Thunderbird. The old man made that too. So wherever you are, Pops, I hope you're smelting away to your heart's desire. Tinkering away. So there you go. The main story. Let's see what's happening over on the 15 side of things. What do we have going on over there? We got Judy. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you. You know, if you don't like one world, go to the other. Wouldn't it be nice if it was all that simple, all that easy? Kind of is, I guess, sometimes. Let's see. So where do we start today? Where do we start today? I was listening. You know, I like to listen to the Rolling Stones in the morning, and I know they're evil. Mick Jagger's evil. I mean, he's evil. He's always been evil. if you go back into the history of the Stones and really, really go down into that very dark underbelly with the Rolling Stones and the late 60s and early 70s. And, I mean, if somebody wanted to do another Isaac Cappy, have another Isaac Cappy kind of moment, they could have Mick Jagger and some of his activities that he's been involved in. Very dark, very strange. Let's just say that the Stones were in search of melanin. They were in search of melanin. And they were in search of melanin from young bodies. Okay? So you do the math on that. Okay? Young people, the quest for melanin. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not here to, out. Look, if I'm going to out somebody, I'm going to have like serious evidence. And I don't necessarily think that outing is really the way to go. I'm not sure, right? And I know that there is a place for that, and I'm not advocating people stick their heads in the sand. But there's been a lot of outing going on for the last few years, and where are we? Question mark. I'm leaning more towards like the building up of the immunity and getting better side of things, so that we can begin to create a world that we want to live in. And if there's a group of people or a faction of people that want to work on taking people out to make that world better, the weeding process, that's fine. There are weeders and seeders. Right now, I'm a seeder. There are other people who are weeders. Part of the garden experience. So speaking of which, this leads into the first story of the day. You guys are going to love this one, man. You're going to love this one. This is the latest from Octavio Ocasio-Cortez. Just when we thought she had uttered her last stupid, vapid comment, she outdoes herself. She totally outdoes herself. Here we go. Gotta throw that in there. You guys gotta check this out. This is freaking hilarious. Maury's got both windows open. Wow, Maury. How about that? With the volume muted in 15 minutes of flame. Maury is multitasking. So Maury is Maury is by. He's by chat-textual. All right, I got to read this. This is from the Daily Mail. Here we go. This is AOC says growing cauliflower is colonial. She insists community gardens, central to her new Green New Deal, should be used to grow culturally significant plants like yucca. That makes your head spin, doesn't it? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took to Instagram Live to discuss her Green New Deal. The 29-year-old claimed people of color ought to be able to grow familiar foods. She said they were alienated by not being able to grow their native vegetables. You've got to be effing kidding me. She says you're taking a colonial approach to environmentalism. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claimed that growing cauliflower in community gardens is taking a colonial approach to environmentalism. The Firebrand, New York Democrat, took to Instagram to discuss how such gardens were a core component of her proposed Green New Deal on Tuesday. She discussed in the live broadcast how it was important that people of color felt they were able to grow foods familiar to them in these green spaces. Go grow yucca in Minnesota. Go try that. There are places that yucca can grow, and there are places that yucca cannot grow. Nobody is telling anybody here in Fredericksburg or any part of Texas that they cannot grow yucca. It's just an absolutely idiotic, stupid vapid talking point that's being used to polarize people, and she knows it. She absolutely and utterly knows it. She's looking a little different these days. I'm seeing pictures of her, like, I don't know. You guys, I gave you guys the links. Go down and look at these pictures. Is this her? Maybe she's losing weight. Maybe all that Ritalin is kicking in. Look at the picture. Ah. This is not looking like her. Okay, let me just keep going. She added a core component of the Green New Deal is having all these projects make sense in a cultural context. And it's an area we get the most pushback on because people say, why do you need that? That's too hard. But when you think about it, when someone says it's too hard to do a green space that grows yucca instead of, I don't know, grow cauliflower or something, what you're doing is you're taking a colonial approach to environmentalism. I'd like to know when the last time this idiot actually had a garden or planted something. You know, maybe she's got a new makeup artist. She's looking a little different. Well, she never mentioned him by name. Ocasio-Cortez retweeted a link to a Reuters article reporting Biden is crafting a climate change policy he will appeal to both environmentalists and the blue-collar voters who elected Trump. She slammed the idea with her own commentary. This is a deal breaker. There is no middle ground with climate denial and delay. Blaming blue-collar Americans. I guess I got a blue-collar on today. How about that? As the main opponents of bold climate policy is gas lobbyist 101. We're not going to solve the climate crisis with this lack of leadership. Our kids' lives are at stake. Yeah, they are, but probably not for the reasons that you think they are. In March, Democratic senators failed to vote through her Green New Deal to the voting stage. Like, they don't even really have a whole lot of faith in this deal. And this deal at this point is really more about promoting Ocasio-Cortez and growing a different kind of garden. Last week, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted that the GOP doesn't care about babies at all, especially brown, black, or poor ones, claiming that if they did, they would back her Green New Deal or at least have a real climate plan. Well, if you took that perspective and you added it to this equation that has to do with abortion, which population group has the most aborted children? It's consistently black women, so-called black women. They've got the highest abortion rate. Who is in favor of abortion? It's the Democrats. One could make a case that the Democrats don't care about brown or black babies or poor ones as well, because what they're doing is they're promoting the removal of the babies to be. Look, it could be either side. I don't care. I'm not here to denigrate the left and promote the right. I'm just trying to show that there is some idiocy involved. There are idiots on the right. Trust me, they're there. I hear them on talk radio quite a bit. You know, it's like there's the moronic kind of talking points of talk radio that they're just there on the right. And one of the talking points on the right is, well, you don't criticize Israel. You don't criticize Israel, and any type of criticism with Israel is verboten. And in fact, I heard Sean Hannity the other day make this case that, you know, that Israel, the Jewish people, are the chosen people, and we have to do this, and on and on and on. And it's like, I'm sorry. We're all chosen. All right? Maybe we're all chosen for extermination. I don't know. We're all chosen. I'm a universalist, okay? I am a universalist. All lives matter. We're all chosen. Is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so. Is that my own cultural perspective? Is my cultural perspective skewed because I see things in universal terms? And they're choosing to use a part of the Bible that is theoretically, we'll be selective about which parts of the Bible we choose now, apparently. that, between the Tigris and the Euphrates, and this is the land, and these people must go there, and there were a multitude of tribes in the Fertile Crescent, multitude. And then we get into this whole idea of, well, who's really who and what at a genetic level. And I've quoted sources like Shlomo Sand, who was the Israeli anthropologist, right? Who really took on this idea of his own origins and came up with he's a professor. And he came up with a paper and a book, and he wrote a book. You can look it up. It's called The Myth of the Jew. And he gets into who his people are and looks at it from a genetic perspective. Okay, I'm not just throwing that out there. So to say that this group is chosen, we have to understand what group that is. I mean, that's an important aspect here. What are we talking about? And to say that any group is chosen, I think, is fallacious. I think we're all chosen. We all have the gene inside of us. We all have the God gene inside of us. It's there. Okay, it's up to us. Again, I'm using the gardening metaphors to water and grow it, to seed it and weed it. And that's where we become stewards of our own experience. We become stewards of the divine within. And that, by the way, is open to everybody. Everybody. Okay, everybody. Nobody's got a patent on it. Nobody's got a lock on it. It's open to everybody. Just recently here in Texas, they had a big ruling that that cities cannot discriminate against Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A obviously is a very Christian business. They close on Sundays. Well, they chose the wrong day to close on. It should really close on Saturday. That's really the Sabbath day, right? I mean, Sabado, right? Sabado, Sabbath day, Saturn's day, right? That's real Sabbath. They're choosing the wrong day, but hey, that's up to them. That's their version of their belief system. Anyway, they're a Christian-based business. They close on Sundays. They have very strict core beliefs. And in cities, in San Antonio, at the airport, they wanted to freeze Chick-fil-A out. They're like, we don't want them there. Their belief system. So the Texas state government here ruled that you cannot discriminate against a business based on their so-called religious beliefs. But it's okay for the state of Texas to then turn around and say you have to bow and pledge allegiance to Israel and promise not to strike or divest your interests against them, just in case you don't agree with their positions on how they treat Palestinians. You can't do that. You may as well open it up and be fair about the whole thing. Okay? It was funny. There was this guy who tweeted. His tweet was, what was his name? Clive the Crusher. He basically says, oh, this is great because Christians are always playing the victim role and being oppressed. And the guy had he's dressed up in a devil costume. I mean, clearly the guy has an agenda. And I don't really tweet, but I tweeted back. It's like, well, hey, just think of it. Now you're free to open a satanic hot dog and pizza stand. Which is true. If this law exists for, not discriminating, why don't you go to the city of San Antonio and say, I'd like to open a satanic hot dog and pizza stand inside the airport. Call it Lose Links. Right? Lucifer, Lose Links. It's America. You just had a ruling. Go do something. They did it. They did it in Oklahoma. They said, "Wow, you can put a statue anywhere. Well, let's put a statue of Baphomet up with two little kids looking up." If you can put a statue up with Moses and the Ten Commandments, they're taking advantage of the law. The law says you can do that. You'll throw the Baphomet up. So, and guess what? They have a right to do that. You may not like it. You may not like it. They got a right to do that. And guess what? They're a religious group. And guess what? They're a nonprofit. Now, I believe that nonprofit status should be eliminated for all religious groups. Personally. I think you should take it away. I think every church, every temple, every mosque should have the nonprofit status eliminated. They'd start changing their tune. Big time. Big time. And guess what? Guess what? They'd probably have to run their enterprises more like a business. How about that? You know, they'd have to really figure out where the money goes and how it's being spent. And sometimes they're audited, but certainly they can be audited more frequently if they're a business, which I think if you look at churches and temples, synagogues, mosques, huge businesses, massive amounts of money are flowing through those coffers every single day. Why not tax them? Nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever talks about that. That's a huge tax base that can be tapped into. Anyway, I'm being a bit of a heretic today. So Ocasio-Cortez wants to tell people that growing a garden is not a cool thing because cauliflower is colonial. Happens to be white. Cauliflower happens to be white. Why didn't she pick, I don't know, kale? Well, kale is green. Why didn't she pick cabbage? Isn't cabbage and kale, aren't those, what about broccoli? Broccoli's green. Well, if it's green, then it might be confused with her new Green Deal because broccoli is green. Cauliflower is not green. Cauliflower is white. She's picking on cauliflower. She's basically equating, let's be clear now, she's equating cauliflower with whiteness. Number one, because it grows in northern climates, it's a cruciferous vegetable. Number two, it happens to be white. It happens to be white. She's discriminating against cauliflower. But I don't mind yucca. I've had yucca. Yucca's a fine food. You could grow yucca if you want. Nobody's stopping you. It's just a divisive, an absolutely divisive construct. She should come to Texas one of these days. Come on, AOC. Come on down to Texas. Let's come visit some community gardens in Texas. Come see what the people here are growing. Who, by the way, aren't all cauliflower colored. Speaking of white, another kind of white story crossed my screen today. It's this whole thing about this slogan, it's okay to be white. Somehow, this has become an inherently racist term, that it's okay to be white. Apparently, if you're Beto O'Rourke, it's not okay to be white. There's a guy who's been putting these t-shirts up for sale, and they've been banned from just about every website possible except for one in New Zealand. And this is from nzherald.co.nz. Controversy as Trade Me, I guess that's the website, sells it's okay to be white t-shirts. They can sell it's okay to be brown, it's okay to be black, it's okay to be yellow, it's okay to be red, it's okay to be pink, it's okay to be gray. But they can't sell it's okay to be white. Because by saying it's okay to be white is somehow inferring that by wearing a t-shirt like this, you're one step closer to white nationalism or fascism. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. Look, I've got Jupiter and Sagittarius on my first house. If they said it's okay, that they wouldn't allow it's okay to be black t-shirts, I'd have a problem with it. If they would say it's okay to be pink, if they would disallow it's okay to be pink t-shirts, I'd have a problem with it. People should put whatever the fuck they want on a t-shirt, okay? It's a t-shirt. It's not a burning cross. It's a t-shirt. I'd love to know what Jordan Peterson says about this. I mean, this is one of those, I think, crossroad moments. Could be for Jordan Peterson. Because on the one hand, he talks about the tyranny of language. And that was really what catapulted him. Because he fought against the tyranny of language. He fought against this idea that the state, through the university, was compelling him to reorganize his relationship with pronouns, and he refused. He didn't refuse on the basis that, let's say, somebody wanted to be called G or Z or whatever. On a personal level, Peterson says, I'm okay with that. What I'm against is the institutionalization of that dictum, that idea that you can't use certain words. That's what he pushed back against. So where would he be on this side of the equation? We all know that he is absolutely, utterly in opposition to anything that smacks of identitarianism or nationalism. He will light that. He will torch that with a flamethrower at the first opportunity he can. He'll do it. Because he doesn't want to be associated with that. And in a lot of ways, he's smart. Because Jordan Peterson has a market share to protect. And he needs, in his mind, to hazmat that. And he can have all these other talking points which fit in his world and allow him to be Jordan Peterson. And to be fairly effective within the construct of those rules of engagement. He's made a clear and conscious choice that he's not going to go there, and he's not going to denounce certain groups, individuals, ideas, and identities, or support them, if you want to look at it from that perspective. He's not going to do it. It's a business decision. He's making a business decision. Just like Joe Rogan made a business decision. Just like Alex Jones made a business decision. I don't get paid for this. I do readings. Sometimes that suffers. If I was probably kind of more of a leftist or a social progressive, I'd probably get more clients. I'd probably be way more successful as an astrologer if I lined up in a certain way. Oh my God. The amount of people that want to get readings and that listen to my material or kind of, sort of visit my mindset, it's not even close to the other camp. I'll be honest with you. Like the other camp gets way more views, way more hits, way more business. So even by beginning to approach these ideas and talking about them in the way that I'm talking about them, that even limits my business to a certain extent. I try not to limit my business because the people that work with me want to do the stuff with me. They find me, and that's cool. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Not like I'm clamoring. I'm doing okay. I'm living a life. I'm contributing. I'm not living somewhere in some third world country, rummaging around, dumps, miles of refuse. Just think about that. Keep that in perspective. I try to. Anyway, but I do think that it would be an interesting thing for Peterson to attack or look at, because these are just words. Yeah, but it's getting very close to that third rail that he doesn't want to begin to approach, because that's a danger zone for him. Anyway, it's fascinating. I'll just read you this last comment here on this. It says, in 2017, posters with the words "It's okay to be white" were plastered around Napier, leading to fury and frustration from the local council. Why are these people having such a hard time with it? Are they filled with such... I'm assuming most of these people are probably white, so-called white. Are they filled with such self-loathing and self-rage that they can't even embrace that it's okay to be in their own skin? I'd hate to be in their bodies. Can you imagine what goes on in their minds and how they have to fit into certain kinds of parameters? Like, I don't see this as being as like. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm naive. I don't see this as being a gateway drug to white nationalism. I just don't. Okay. Hawke's Bay Tourism. Let's see. Says 3 posters were pasted together on a specially built sign pillar directly opposite the sound shell, and just a short walk from the Napier Eyesight Center, where hundreds of visitors from 2 visiting cruise ships disembarked. At the time, Napier Mayor Bill Dalton said, "Sadly, you can't prevent that sort of thing. It's the act of a nutter, and it achieves nothing." A nutter? No, I don't think so. Hawke's Bay Tourism General Manager Annie Dundas agreed, saying it was crazy, and unsettling to hear that so many people did so much to keep the city and the region looking its best. If they said it was okay to be brown, would there be any outrage because it was a poster across from the sound shell? Or it's okay to be pink? She said anyone seeing such posters should tear them down or report them to the council, and their staff would deal with them. We don't need to see that sort of rubbish. Well, if you're in New Zealand, why don't you put up a poster which were it's okay to be brown or it's okay to be pink. Let's see how Mr. Dalton responds to that, or Ms. Dundas. Or, maybe if you could say, you could put it's okay to be white, it's okay to be brown, it's okay to be pink, it's okay to be, just include everybody. Is that okay? It's ridiculous. Absolutely, utterly ridiculous. Looks like Jamie Oliver's restaurant chain just imploded. The star of The Naked Chef, whom I like, Jamie Oliver, a little outspoken. I think he's a good guy. And I'm not saying there's anything conspiratorial here. There's a downturn in the restaurant business happening. Thomas Keller had to close his restaurant in Hollywood. Guy Fieri had to close some of his restaurants. People just don't have the money to go out and spend $150 on a meal. $150, that's like car insurance and, probably paying for their Obamacare. You think about it. I'm going to pay for car insurance and medical insurance, or I'm going to go out and spend $150 on greasy, garlic infused portions from Guy Fieri's restaurant kingdom. I mean, it's a choice people are making. So we're seeing a downturn in the restaurant business. Anyway, Jamie Oliver, out of the game now. Too bad. Seemed like a nice guy. Let me get into Chatlandia, what's happening with YouTube. YouTube, let's see what we got here. Time to read Revelations. Hi, Tim. What's in the Cuenca markets right now? Casa Cortez is such a fine garden stock hybrid from GMO Petri dish seeds, watered with pure Roundup. What's she really trying to go? Nice comment, Mary Sue. Paulette says, Sophia, 19 days, I worked for the U.S. Senate. Older committee and personnel staff members were already replaced by under 30 crowd. Permanent limited thinking of what's pretty limited thinking outside of what's in for me. Let's see. Dragon fruit is so delicious. Also just starting to be available in the U.S. for the first time. Also, guanabara. The latest news from Sweden is that the current Minister of Justice and the government are currently investigating banning the use of Nordic rune scripture. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Freckled folks united, traditionally, even if one white hair was found on a black cat, they were not necessarily witch. That's what Sue said. Is Nibiru and 5G driving people mad? I think Twitter is driving people mad. We're at a phase right now. Again, we're in a deconstruction phase. I've been talking about this for a while, and the great conductor of it all is the big Cheeto. Let's see. Rhonda says, "I will plant cauliflower today." That's funny. I like that. Taxi nonprofit is an oxymoron. Really, they don't profit. Hi, Andrea. Here's what I think. I think, let's say, for instance, you're a poor black church in Mississippi, okay? And if you didn't have a nonprofit status, that would really affect you. Perhaps there should be a tiered system that if your annual income from your place of worship is under $100,000 a year, you get to retain your nonprofit status. Okay, I'll try to level the playing field a little bit. Over $100,000 a year, you move into a kicker zone, and that now you're into for-profit status. So maybe they just tier it off, and they're audited. The problem with the churches and the temples and the synagogues and the mosque is a lot of their money comes through what? Currency. Dollars. They're not taxable. It's hard to find a taxable level, right? So I think they've done the same thing with waiters and waitresses, that they would have to be kind of a minimum threshold, that you would start off just kind of saying, okay, you're going to get roughly, X amount of dollars per Sunday. Here's your threshold. Here's your floor. Your floor is at $40K. It's not hard to think that a church would get $40K a year. And then there's a ceiling of $100K. And that you have to do an accounting for that money. And if you're a truly religious person, guess what? You're not going to lie. You're not going to lie about it. Am I right? That doesn't really happen. But if you're truly religious, that would be the case. Okay, so I don't want to stumble over the time here. I do want to make sure that I have a nice ending today. Somebody had something interesting to say in the chat. Who was it? Joe says, it's okay to be human. Hueman. Hue, color, any color. White holds all color in spectrum, and so does black. I like that. Come on, people. Let's get together. Try to love one another right now. Whatever happened to those sentiments? Oh, they got changed. Identity politics drove a stake right through the heart of that. Try to love one another, except a certain group who we've identified as being your oppressors. Don't love them. Everybody else, you can love them. Right? Let's see. There's Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Nice to see you. All right. I want to play you guys something. Now, remember the other day I said it was really kind of revelatory for me watching Naked and Afraid, that when these people were out in the wild, it wasn't the apex predators that got them. It was the microbes, the bacteria, the viruses, the no-see-ums, the chiquistas, the mosquitoes, the flies, the worms. That was the legion that would take these people out. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video. It's a troubling video to watch, but it gets back into this idea that it is not the apex predator that we need to fear. It is not. What we need to be concerned with and aware of is the legions that perhaps the apex predators have unleashed upon us, whether it's measles, which I don't really give two shits about, or some other contagion, or perhaps a much smaller version of what the apex predator might appear to be. These are the things that I believe are things that we need to be aware of. I'm going to show you a video. It's troubling, but you need to see it. Okay? And this happened in Saskatoon. Here we go.
Police are looking into a disturbing video that appears to show a group of children attacking a grown woman in a park playground in the city. CTV's Colin Thomas spoke to the person who shot the video at Pleasant Hill Park.
It was here at this park where the violent attack took place. The attack videotaped by a man who shared that video with CTV. He says it took place Monday night at 7 o'clock. The video shows 4 young boys punching and kicking the unidentified woman as she falls to the ground. The woman struggles to fight off her attackers while other boys stand around and watch. Listening to the video, you can hear laughing in the background. Eventually, the boys stop the attack. They slowly move away. The woman manages to get up slowly and starts to walk away. We don't know what kind of injuries she suffered, if any. The man who provided the video says the woman had been filming the boys who were throwing rocks at strangers. He says she told them to stop before she was attacked. The witness also telling CTV News he wants the video out there so something can be done to make the park safer. Now, Saskatoon police say they have identified the woman attacked in the video and an investigation is underway. Colin Thomas, CTV News, Saskatoon.
That video was very troubling for a lot of reasons. Number one, that never used to happen. We never saw that before. We never saw gangs of little thugs beating up women like that. Never happened. I know it's Canada, that's Saskatoon. Did that ever happen in Saskatoon? No, it never happened before. No, this is something new and disturbing and really troubling. The other thing that was troubling about that video is that nobody did anything. There was nobody there. There was somebody capturing on a camera, on a cell phone. Right, there's another kid. Is it going to go on World Star Hip Hop? Is that what they're trying to fucking do? Right? Is that what's happening? That was really troubling. And the other troubling part, if you watch that video, you'll see that there is ostensibly a white kid. I don't know what the nationality of those other kids were. I'm not going to speculate, okay?